Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year from Independent Television and Radio.
The new Edion expressed excitement as they danced and rejoiced before the Esama of Benin, Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawari Benedion, who also joined in the dance. As visiting and paying of homage to various homes of senior elders continued, the initiates spent 7 days performing diverse kinds of rites as required by tradition. They were furnished with rules and regulations regarding their new office as Edion.
That I grew up in this community to the point that they have now also chosen me as an elder in this community. It's a thing of great joy. All thanks to the Esama of Benin, my people, my family, everybody, all Okada community for this great honor. I am very, very grateful.
Well, this is my brother. I'll call him my uncle because he grew up with my father. I'm so proud of him because we are doing the same rituals as the Edions of the Okada. It is our duty for us to make this place a greater place, for outsiders to come and see the goodness of God in Okada. And I'm proud of every one of us here. So shall it be to each and every one of us in Jesus' name.
Odion ma Okada zima Esama zima dion Bona zima dion Obana zima dion Manawe Mari Esama dion na ni mado pon Esama ni mado gbeken Esama e ma dio wa na Esama ma gbeken ne osabo obuyo bitu ne baba no get on maga no dia mi maga ma ni do gbeken ne de na e ma ya fe e ma ato e ma agbo oro pa ewu dori e ma dia wo re ne o be ti agbon ya no we mi maga me ni just ko sino mi afa in Esama our father.
Much obliged for having you join us on the program TMI on the ITV network. And I'm Sonny Duke Okosun. My colleagues from Lagos Network Studio is already on standby, Miss Selena. And of course, I've got Chuku Funaya with me here in Benin Network Studio. Good to have you on the show, and Merry Christmas.
Yes, a wonderful one to you also. It's great to be here as well. And I would say congratulations on your award yesterday as the overall best staff of independent television and radio.
Thank you. I dedicated that to every one of you who's been there over the years and making that happen back to back, all right? And we'll just continue to get inspired by some of these rave reviews, achievements, so we can continue to push and move the organization forward. So much to talk about on the show today, but let's just reflect on Christmas. I know that this particular Christmas has been one interesting one, and I think the most concerning part of it is that there hasn't been steady power supply at all, and this is more or less like a national challenge. Well, no doubt we've had power problems over the years, but this period, at least there's usually some level of stability. You can have maybe 3 hours in, 3 hours out, 6 hours in, but for almost like 2 weeks there was no light, and eventually when it got back, you'd barely have it for just maybe about 3 hours or 4 hours in the night, and that's it. So it's a really bleak Christmas for a lot of people because of the poor power supply in the country.
Yes, it is. They're basically not even showing up, and you know, power being one of the most essential things to human life right now, and how much the world has advanced. It's really something to frown upon.
All right, let's link up with Messalina from our Lagos Network Studio. Messalina, good to have you on the show, and Merry Christmas, yeah? Of course, we've got Dominic as well from Abuja Network Studio. Dominic, Merry Christmas. Well, I'm looking for Hamatan. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Let me begin with Dominic from Abuja Network Studio. Have you seen Hamatan? I'm looking for it.
Was it very to you our Sunday of course, December is expected to be experienced time, especially those of us that are in the north of the country. Well, it's a mixture of weather, if I have to put it that way. Abuja, as you know, is in the central area, is always present the period like this. I can tell you now, time is beginning to we have weather most especially in the afternoon. See the whole place is dry, dusty weather. It's also a call for that always in the hurry to set bushes probably in preparation for the next farming season. You know, we term as bushmeat area in this area. Harmattan is already here, but the weather is not as cold as but I believe into January, February, we will be experiencing a very Harmattan. Let me not forget, I congratulate your award yesterday, those who were recognized by the station, but it's a quality for them to do more for to whom much is expected, if I should put it down. And I know that with this award, we'll be far to more and ensure that we take TV to the next, and radio to the next, and we'll be proud to be out there as one of the best it comes to. From Abuja is cool. The vehicles are beginning the road in Abuja is more a civil service state. Most best traveled out, but those who have this are already hitting the road. I'm assuring you that today of the offices will be open, even though it is out of town. But I believe some of them will be going back to work today, while those who are still enjoying their Christmas will be able to receive their Christmas. That's my son.
The audio, hope we can get that sorted out in the course of the show. Ms. Lena, yeah, what's up with Lagos?
My colleague from Abuja. Good morning, Chuku Funaya. Lagos is good. I mean, a lot of persons have been saying that, did God forget that it is Christmas? I mean, we've not seen Harmattan. The weather is hot, everywhere is hot. And we are like, what is happening? Okay, before I continue, congratulations on your word, well deserved. I mean, I'm excited for you. And it's still the celebration of Christmas. Lagos, it's booming here. You know, a lot of people, traffic, people are having fun celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. Talking about the electricity, it's not like that in Lagos though. You know, we got electricity. I mean, it's booming here in Lagos, and we're all having fun. But from Lagos today, basically we will be talking about from Lagos. Our main focus from Lagos is one of the biggest political talking points today. That is the recent U.S.-backed military strike against ISIS-linked militant camps in Sokoto State. We saw that President Donald Trump has publicly announced it December 25th, that the strike, and framed them as aimed at countering militants targeting Christians. You know, he has been talking about Christian genocide. And the Nigerian government authorized the strike, which were carried out with U.S. support as part of the ongoing counter-terrorism efforts in the Northwest. And I mean, a lot of persons are in support of it, while a lot of persons are saying that doesn't mean the government, they're actually not doing their job. In presence of Sheikh Gumi is actually not in support of it. Some other persons too are not in support of it. Why some persons say, since our own leaders cannot protect our country, you know, now that the U.S. has come in, that it's okay that they are in support of it. While other persons are saying it is not the right timing. So basically, that is what we'll be talking about today from this table in Lagos.
All right, fantastic, fantastic, Ms. Lina. So much talking point. I'd also observe that this is one Christmas that we didn't have long queues, and the usual shortage of naira, it wasn't that pronounced, unlike what we've seen in years past, right?
Yes, yes, I've noticed that too. Although I have seen a bit of queues in petrol stations, but you're right, not as much as
it used to be
in time past.
Okay, but I think that the big story for us from our Benin Network studio is the seeming dangerous trend and dimension of violence in Edo State that needs to be addressed urgently before, I mean, we see things in dimensions never before seen before. Yesterday, the story broke. It was like a story from a Nollywood movie. It was like something you find it difficult, you would find it difficult to imagine, but it happened, all right? Dr. Pedro Obaseki was beaten, stripped naked, assaulted, manhandled, for whatever reason. And we'll be looking at that issue. We hope to have him here so he can give us his perspectives on what exactly transpired. If you go online, you're going to see that video trending, how he was manhandled, beaten to a pulp, and really dehumanized. His fundamentals as a human being were actually taken away from him. And that's uncalled for. And that it needs to be condemned by any right-thinking individual, no matter the reason or the rationale behind this. And this is just one incident too many, because we are presenting Edo State in bad light, giving the impression that, I mean, this is a state that is known for violence, a state known for insecurity, a state known for all of the negativities. There's what you call imagined communities. The perception of Nigerians in diaspora or even foreign nationals about a particular environment is based on some of these things that they see or hear. This is one incident too many. Incident of violence, incident of abuse, incidents of assault, incident of insecurity, of all kinds of things. I really don't know where this is taking us.
Yeah, it definitely does present Edo State in a bad light. Someone that's so high up there, like the youth do look up to a veteran thespian, just being humiliated like that, and it's just something to be frowned upon, yes.
All right, we've got my colleagues Dominic and Messalina also joining us from network studios in Abuja and Lagos. I mean, look at where we are with this incident that happened yesterday. Dr. Don Pedro Obaseki is an accomplished personality, not just in Nigeria, but globally. A global and international personality, a broadcaster, an administrator. I mean, the list is endless. But to just get a hold of him, trying to do what he loves to do in the primary school where he's playing football, picked up, kidnapped, beaten, assaulted, disgraced, humiliated. I mean, so the question now on the lips of many people is, who is next to be so dehumanized this way? What with the fact that this is becoming a trend in Edo State, and authorities in charge needs to do something to put an end to this kind of, shenanigans. The other day, it was a journalist, a female journalist, that was slapped, that was beaten right in Government House, and that matter has since been quelled. Today, yesterday, is the turn of Don Pedro Obaseki. So who is next? And what message are we sending? What signal are we sending? I had an interview with the European ambassador to Nigeria and ECOWAS, so a few weeks back when this MOA issue came up. One of the things he said, you can go and check out that interview on YouTube. Check it out on our YouTube channel. One of the things he said is that, what message are we sending to the outside world? The message we are sending is that Edo State is not safe. Foreigners can't come. Foreign investors can't come. What is currently the rate of foreign direct investment to Edo State with all this kind of shenanigans that we see today? Let me get to take Dominic and Messalina. Dominic.
Of course, quite embarrassing. Just like you said, it's not that we should tolerate in a society like Edo State, but states who were since hold with high state cultural heritage. It's the person of we all know him. We all grew up hearing his name while he was in education. He's someone who is respected when it comes to the folks. It goes to tell you the disregards we have for humanity. You cannot treat of that status, no matter what no matter what the situation was. I don't think it warrants that. It was mentioned earlier who was responsible for such behavior. Now the society tell you that nobody, like you said, who is, we don't know who be named, but we condemn as such. I believe that the state police commissioner, like he mentioned so in the report, that investors comments, and who is responsible, I believe that that person should be brought in, like you mentioned, what will others see Edo State as, what portraying Edo to the outside world. I'll tell those who always travel back home, stress period, look, if you come back, you're not safe. I don't know who it's a very terrible situation. We address issues like this, degenerated where it is. The issue of it is everywhere. We see that everywhere in almost all parts of. We should to checkmate this. You don't have to take plots, no matter you don't have the ones. I saw similar incidents. I tried to see some beggar and about somebody who went paid just by the finance, trying to attack to pay in the citizens that he has to pay. It's a version of PASA actually stopped that degenerated into some yesterday where talks trying to the hands, asking a person to pay for to the core of nature just side that goes to tell you that there are some persons they can just take law into their hands simply because they are out of work. So it's a call to agents to ensure that, look, we have to with activities of these on Nigerians, so we don't have it beyond where yesterday was very embarrassing, and I feel the need needs to be done, and those who should be called out of work.
All right, let me get you in, Messalina. I'm sure you follow this story online that's been trending, for the past less than 24 hours, actually, yeah?
I mean, it's quite embarrassing and disheartening, watching that he's being humiliated like that. Like we said earlier, the government really needs to look into it, and those perpetrators needs to be brought to book. He'll be coming later, right, to say his own side of the story. Like you said earlier, we don't know who is next. How are foreign investors going to be seeing Edo State or looking at Edo State, seeing all those things that have been happening to them? Would they be scared coming in to invest? Would they be scared coming to the state, to do one or two things? Like, we really do not know who is next. So these perpetrators or these people that actually did this, because when I saw the video, it's really, really embarrassing. Seeing somebody of that status being humiliated like that is really disheartening, and we don't know who is next. So the government really needs to look into this issue currently happening in Edo State.
Fantastic. We'll just give you an excerpt of this incident, give you the full video so you can make sense of, if you can really make sense of this sort of dastardly act we are seeing in this modern age, in this time. I believe that no matter the issue, there are, civilized ways, civilized channels through which some of these issues can be addressed. For people to just take laws into their hands and go scot-free is uncalled for, is unacceptable by every stroke of imagination. There are more civilized ways for things to be addressed, for things to be done, so we don't give the wrong signals, except we're saying we don't want our own people in the diaspora to be coming home to do stuff, especially this Christmas season, and that's quite unfortunate. Just take a look at it. We'll be back with you on the show TMI Monday. That's the video for you. Just help me make sense of all that you saw in that video. And a lot of questions are popping up. We'll be bringing you those questions. Maybe you can help us find answers in the course of the show this lovely Monday morning on TMI on the ITV network. We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll be looking at what the papers are saying. Of course, we're coming back to that issue in the course of the show. Please stay with us. Many thanks again for rejoining us on the program TMI on the ITV network. Just in time for the newspaper review segment of the show. We'll begin with the Daily Trust. And the top story there on the Daily Trust, on the cover page, you have U.S. airstrikes, casualties likely in Sokoto. That's on the Daily Trust. All right, you'll find that story on it continued on page 3 and 4 on Daily Trust. Okay, more stories for you. Gunmen killed 2 siblings, abduct 4 others in Gombe. All right, that story is on okay, still on the Daily Trust. Then we've got Gida Bijimi FCT community where pregnant women travel 4 kilometers for care. Can you believe that? And then we've got this one. Kano governor set to join APC, says aid. All right, that's on page 11. This story is on page 11, page 16, and then of course page 3. More on the Daily Trust. Let's see what more we can bring you for you on the Daily Trust newspaper. This okay, fuel price down, transport fares still up. One big paradox we can't even explain. Fuel price down, transport fares still up. What's responsible for this? We expect that with the price of fuel coming down or stabilizing, the transport fares will also go down, but that's not happening. That's not happening at all. Okay, we've got Dr. Dan Akalafo joining us via Zoom, Monday's guest reviewer, to look at some of these stories. Dr. Dan, thank you so much for joining us on the program, and Merry Christmas to you once again.
Merry Christmas to you too.
Okay, so which of the stories more of interest to you, looking at the trending stories on the Daily Trust this morning?
I did not get the headline.
Yeah, we just looked at. Okay, let me run through some of the stories on the Daily Trust again. The front page story says U.S. airstrikes, casualties likely in Sokoto. Because I know that since that strike took place on Christmas Day, the question that has been on the lips of many people: what are the casualties? Why is it possible, or how is it possible that such a strike would have taken place and we don't have casualties? Then you also have other stories. Gunmen killed 2 siblings, abduct 4 others in Gombe. And then Gida Bijimi FCT community where women travel 4 kilometers for health care. And then Kano governor set to join APC. This is coming from his aide. And then the last story there was on the fuel price situation, which is going down, fuel price down, but transport fares still up. Can you help us make sense on this story? What are your perspectives, Dr. Dan?
Okay. The first thing I want us to look at, with reference to the bombing in Sokoto, it is too early for us to ascertain the number of victims or who were involved. The reason is that nobody knew the number of terrorists or bandits that were in that enclave at the time the bombing took place. But I followed a news channel, not yours, yesterday night, and the reporter confirmed that, of a fact, the place was bombed, and the locals close to that area confirmed that incident of that nature happened. My concern with my perspective would be that we should not be so concerned about how many bandits were killed, but the fact that it has sent a message to the bandits that wherever they are not hidden, and that they can be taken out at any time, is a clear signal that those of them who are still thinking about continuing this act of terrorism against the Nigerian state will start having a rethink. For the governor of Kano State, I am not surprised because of the fear most governors have that if they don't join the ruling party, the tendency is that they can be taken unawares. You understand the nature of our politics, the nature of our judicial system. So governors who want to be in the good books, we want to play along. But I know as the primaries get closer and some will lose out of the power game, the likelihood is that we may have stronger opposition candidate that will come up. So if Kano State Governor is contemplating joining APC, for me, it's not a strange thing because I know many governors are afraid. But the question I've always asked people, if a governor has done well, it is the people that will validate his position. But where the governor is not performing up to expectations, they will want to hide under the toga of the ruling party to get some protection. If INEC is doing its job as an umpire, I don't know why people will want to run to the ruling party because it is the people that will ultimately decide. But this state of our national life, where vote don't count in the real sense of it, I want the judiciary to decide who finally gets the seat. That fear is what is holding many people down. It's always very difficult. Post 2008, 2009, for a governor to lose a case at the Supreme Court because technicalities are brought in to defend the city governor. This is the sad state of our nation. But if we must move forward, the electoral body must do its job well. Now, all other stories related to insecurity, they are all tied to the same thing. For me, if we must get it right, governors must become real to the people. If the enabling environment is created for jobs, if the social system is working well, people will not take it to, insecurity will not be a serious issue in our nation. These are things our government should start thinking of if they really want the good of the nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dan. Let's look at more other papers for this morning. We just highlighted some of the top stories on Daily Trust. From Daily Trust, let's check out the New Telegraph. And what are the top stories on the New Telegraph? It says, allocations, 2025 earnings from electronic money transfer up 120.6% to 402.22 billion naira. All right, more stories for you. 2025 year of political upheavals. How Rivers emergency rule, ADC defections, others shaped polity. I'm learning politics from Tinubu, says Yewada, the APC national chairman, is speaking there. More stories for you on the New Telegraph. Anti-terrorism fight, comb Sambisa Forest, Koza, Lake Chad, Middle Belt Forum urges U.S. don't relent, spare no one. PFN tells Tinubu. General Shaibu celebrates Christmas with troops in Borno. Kano, 9 bandits, 1 vigilante killed in overnight gun duel. New tax laws. Airfares within Nigeria may rise beyond 1 million naira. This is coming from Onyema. Lawyers back NBA's call for suspension. All right, as Patriot supports NAS for re-gazetting tax laws. You want more on these stories and lots more? Get a copy of the New Telegraph. All right, and then this one says 34 lawyers fail judges integrity test. This is coming from the NJC. All right, and then TCN launches 82 power transformers to boost national grid. We are yet to see that. We're yet to see the impact of that. And then 50 billion naira. Present evidence of approval, not request. Makinde tells Fayoshe. Okay, so let's get your perspectives on these stories from the New Telegraph, Dr. Dan.
Yeah, the bold headline from the New Telegraph is not is a wet couch headline. Actually, if you follow the trajectory of our system, since the declaration of the state of emergency in Rivers State, indeed, it has shaped our polity. Why? The arguments initially were raised by lawyers. The president don't have the power. But the later judgment by the Supreme Court confirmed that the president can suspend a city governor under certain circumstances. That singular decision is what is driving many governors in this direction. Don't also forget, when key actors in the political system started moving to ADC, the reality started telling on city governors that we have to join the ruling party. Why are they all afraid? They understand the kind of man who is in the presidency. They understand his type of politics and the way he plays it. And because they know they are not strangers to the game, they want to all precede him, join his trail.
Okay, bit of a loss of signal there. We hope we can re-establish connection with Dr. Dan so we can get more perspectives on some of these stories that we just highlighted from the New Telegraph. One that is quite worth talking about is the implications of the new tax law that is set to come into effect in the next couple of days on January 1st. And the federal government has come out to say no going back on the new tax law. But there are concerns with the new tax law. Fares are most likely going to go up to as high as 1 million naira. And then you just want to ask a question, how many people can afford that? I saw a post recently by someone on Facebook, and he captioned it this way: travel by land, and then you pay maybe 35,000 naira, depends on the quality of the vehicle or the transport line that you're using. You do road transportation, you pay that low, you're most likely, God forbid, you get kidnapped by bandits. You'll be thinking of, a ransom of 100 million naira and above. And then you compare that to paying 250,000 naira for a flight ticket, maybe to Lagos or to Abuja, as the case may be. And so this is the maths. But with the tax law coming up, you're probably going to have that increased astronomically with much more effects on the polity, on the people, in terms of their capacity to be able to function at that level. Do we have Dr. Dan back with us now? Okay, we lost the signal, so we hope we can re-establish connection with him and get more perspectives from him on this segment of the show. Okay, let's look at what we have on the Guardian newspaper. Guardian newspaper for today has very interesting stories. On the Guardian, Monday morning, 29th day of December, and it says, Obi lawmakers' obedience to join ADC on December 31. All right, and then we've got this story: Gazetted Tax Act illegal, amounts to forgery. Atiku insists. So let's take this to the courts and challenge it and see what the perspectives of the courts will be. Not enough to say it's illegal. We can challenge it in court and get judgment, which can go either way. All right, but at least we go a long way to wrest the illegality or otherwise of the new tax act. Okay, and we've got this one: Zamfara attack. Tinubu's trip to Europe, UAE shows lack of empathy, says ADC. All right, more of that story is on page 3. The story on the Tax Act is on page 3 as well. And then the story on Obi lawmakers' obedience joining the ADC on December 31 is also on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. All right, so from the Guardian, we're still on the Guardian, really. Okay, we've got the story. It says, oversight concerns as assemblies hastily pass 34.63 trillion naira budgets. That story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. And it says, states approved 2026 budgets in trillions of naira. All right, and then you can see the statistical analysis of these hastily passed 34.63 trillion naira budget on The Guardian. And you want more of these stories, get a copy of The Guardian today. And of course, you learn more and know more and be more informed in terms of how some of these things work. Okay, we still have this story there. It's on page 6 as well. FG6 to calm markets as US strikes test sovereignty and economy. All right. Now, on this US strikes, when you look at the stories that have been out there, the US came with a claim of Christian genocide in Nigeria. That informed this action. All right. On the flip side, those who are commenting on it are saying, you know, using that narrative could cause religious tension, ethnic tension, and all of that in the country. But if you look at the issue critically, you come to the conclusion that whether you are a Christian, whether you are a Muslim, you are first a Nigerian. And if that is the situation, we have heard some of the comments and analysis from various individuals on this issue, that the terrorists, the bandits, they attack Christians, they attack Muslims, they destroy churches, they destroy mosques as well, even though there are those who are saying the attack and the slaughtering of Christians is more. So we are all on the same page, which means whether you're a Christian or you're a Muslim, we have a common enemy, all right? Who is the common enemy now? The terrorists, the bandits, the kidnappers, the murderers, the robbers, and what have you. So whatever action is taken to destroy this common enemy, I think it's a right step in the right direction that needs to be supported. Okay, we've got Dr. Dan back with us. Dr. Dan, good to have you back with us again on the program. So we're looking at the Guardian newspaper now. We've got very interesting stories there. Article is saying the Gazetted Tax Act is illegal and that it amounts to forgery. And then the ADC is saying Tinubu's trip to Europe, UAE shows lack of empathy over the undercurrents of Zamfara attacks. And then Obi lawmakers' obedience set to join the ADC on the 31st of December. And then you also have this huge headline there. It says oversight concerns as assemblies hastily pass 34.63 trillion naira budgets. States approved 2026 budget in trillions of naira. And maybe I just read an excerpt from that story. It says, at the state level, elected lawmakers have turned budget appropriation sessions into mere rituals, adopting the proposals as transmitted by the governors. In some cases, the budgets were passed in 24 hours, leaving no time for the members to study and fully understand the spending priorities of their states. This should be a concern to the average Nigerian. And still on Guardian, it says FG seeks to calm markets as US strikes test sovereignty and economy. And then we've got this on airlines agencies fear low patronage as US visa ban begins January 1. Pro-Tinubu chants won't secure second term, Wiki tells Fubara. Pro-Tinubu chants won't secure second term, Wiki tells Fubara. In other words, joining the APC or defecting to the APC is not going to guarantee Fubara a second term. So another war is looming in Rivers State. And then we've got this one. FG withheld 20 billion naira Ibadan explosion aid over refusal to pay bribe. And 34 out of 62 lawyers fail integrity test, disqualified from High Court judges' race. Interesting stories we've got on the Guardian. Dr. Dan. Dr. Dan, are you there with us? Okay, again, we've not been able to establish that connection with Dr. Dan, so we'll just move up quickly with the other dailies. Okay, we'll go to The Nation now. Let's see what the top stories are on The Nation newspaper. On The Nation newspaper.
Yeah, I was saying that if you look at what is happening in many states, it is not that the honorable members are not aware or are not scrutinizing the budget, but they lack the willpower to compel the governors to take action. Why is it like that? The selection of the honorable members, I use the word selection, even from the party primaries, is at the discretion of the governor. The governor look for men and women who will do his bidding. I don't want to be specific with about Edo. I have a credible information that some of the honorable members studied the past budget, the 2025 budget. Having looked at the budget, they felt the level of performance was restricted to just an area. And a honorable member told the speaker, allegedly, that there's no point debating the budget because they're already working from the answer to the question. This is the same thing with all state houses of assembly. My fear about the way we are running our democracy is that we're going to get to a point where the thing will backfire against all of us. Those who ought to be thinking right, those who have been in the vanguard of scrutinizing this system, because of the lure of money, activists, social crusaders are now joining the political class so that they can benefit from the booty. The resultant effect is that nobody is checking the system. And a system that is not checked creates room for corruption and all manner of shenanigans. As for the tax law, one question we are not asking ourselves as a people is that this government has borrowed humongous amount of money. Can we point to the specific projects these monies were spent for? If we have evidence that the money borrowed from multilateral organizations for specific projects are executed, we'll be thinking right. How can the National Assembly wake up and a law they passed in the process of gazetting, certain provisions are added to it without them knowing? It took whistleblowers, individuals who scrutinize the document critically to raise the observation. I recall that when the chairman of the Committee on Tax Reforms was called into one of the television stations, he was not specific. What he said is that it was what was handed over to him. Should we wait for this as a people, instead of the leadership of the National Assembly to take proactive steps to demand for accountability? There is a level of quietness on the part of the National Assembly leadership. It is people from outside that are raising observation and questions. If the National Assembly will not take appropriate action on this, it means the allegations that some of them were giving some amount of money is actually true. Should we continue like this as a people? Dr. Sonny, where we are driving with our political system, instead of us to evolve to a state where we have a better system, we're rather retrogressing. And it's very unfortunate for us as a people. We cannot continue like this. The reality of governance is that we are failing in all aspects. If we don't do what is right and stem the tide, I'm afraid in the next few years, the political system will collapse on all of us.
Okay, let's thank you, Dr. Dar. Let's look at what we have on the Nation newspaper. Interesting stories as well. The top story there on page 2 says, why Akume earlier feud should be settled by president. And then on page 3 as well, we've got this one. It says, Tinubu in Europe, en route business summit in Abu Dhabi. All right, 2025 business outlook. You see some of those sectoral reviews on page 13 to 20. And Chile challenges Eagles ahead knockout stage. Super Eagles doing so well in the Nations Cup. We hope they can give us something to cheer about from the AFCON 2025 since they missed out in the World Cup. Okay, Makinde Fayoshe in Rio. Over 50 billion naira federal government's cash support for Ibadan. blast victims. All right, Makinde, Fayoshe in a row, over 50 billion naira fueled government's cash, federal government's cash support, yeah, for Ibadan blast victims. All right, that's on page 2 as well. And then on the economy, which is the big story there, Tinubu's economic reforms developing Nasarawa, says Governor Sule on page 4. Edo economy remains stable despite airstrikes in Sokoto. Every effort to safeguard Nigerians is pro-growth, pro-investment. But unfortunately, we heard recently that some component part of Wale Edo's ministry has been taken away from him over comments that he made recently about the revenue expectation. In an interview, he said, well, we didn't even meet up to the expectations in projections for revenue, whereas the government has been saying revenue targets were exceeded, and that has come with some consequences. Quite unfortunate. Okay, we've got the story. NJC shortlists 28th for appointment as Federal High Court judges. More on these stories. We've got a copy of the Nation newspaper. Okay, we have 2027. Why SDP rejected coalition talks to wrest power from Tinubu by Adebayo is on page 4. Dr. Dan, over to you.
Well, the first headline you raised was the problem between Alia and SGF. The politics of prebendalism has remained an issue in our national life, where a political godfather picks a godson and say, you run the governorship race and become the governor of the state. But at the end of the day, the godfather expects the godson to serve him in all aspects. And when the terms of agreement can no longer hold, problems always arise, from Rivers to Benue, and almost all the states of the Federation where you had strong political godfathers and anointed godsons. Well, those who are calling for peace between both of them is for the good of their state. But one of the questions we should ask ourselves, at what is the basis of the disagreement? Is it with reference to governance or accountability? Or that remittances are not given to the godfathers? That is a question that those who probe into this issue should answer. Having said that, it is worrisome that lawyers who choose to apply to be judges of the High Court, the story is that a sizable number of them were disqualified on the basis of integrity. So if a man who wants to be a judge lacks integrity, you're asking yourself, this already polluted justice system, if you bring men or women of such caliber into the system, you're going to have a worse scenario for our judicial system. For those who are able to screen the individuals and say, these ones lack integrity on the basis of their long years of practice, these ones are okay, let's begin to believe that we'll have a glimmer of hope, that we'll have a judicial system that works for all. Now, as for Wale Edu, you recall that when he made that statement, he came with an unprepared speech for a television interview, and unfortunately, because the facts were not there, and he had a summary of what the facts were, he told the team that the government did not meet revenue projection. Honestly, when I saw the story initially, I recall that in September or so, they were already saying that they met revenue projection. The propagandists in Aso Rock are the one coming up with the stories that the economy is doing well. And sometimes when they do all of this, they fail to realize that we have critical thinkers in this country. If the economy has met its revenue projection, why are we still borrowing to fund the budget? That is the question the propagandists fail to answer. We cannot continue to deceive Nigerians, hoping that by telling the same lies again and again, we'll come to believe them. What questions we should ask is, why do we raise very high budget that we cannot fund when the revenues are not there? Imagine, for the past how many years, we have been paying back loans from our revenue earnings. If the budget was made based on our any capacity, you shrink the budget, take on specific projects. But what we do as a people is that we initiate 20 projects. The one the former government initiated, we abandon those projects. I want to do our own fresh project to say, this is what this president did. And at the end of the day, he is unable to complete the projects. If you travel around this country, you see a lot of abandoned projects. Simple road projects of not more than 100 kilometers, we cannot complete them in 5 years. So sometimes I ask myself, do we really have people who think in government? If we don't have people who think, is it that these people don't know how to think or they don't know how to act? One state that I respect in Nigeria is Akwa Ibom. Akwa Ibom State, in spite of the differences in political orientation of the different leaders they've had continuity in project implementation. They had a master plan from Atati Day that they are working on. And if you go to that state, you see the level of progress they have made over the years. In many other states, this governor will say, I want to start my own project. That one wants to start his own project. At the end of the day, they are unable to complete anything. Dr. Sonny, the reality of our system is that we need a third force that will put the government on its toes so that basic things about governance, at least we can get right. You have a plan, you cannot execute the plan. You borrow humongous amount of money, you end up looting that amount of money. How do you make progress as a people? We need a third force really that will put the government on its toes. My take on the papers.
All right, thank you. Let's quickly run through the Nigerian Tribune. It says, Nigeria not at war, Finance Ministry reassures investors. You get that story on page 6. And then there's this row between Governor Seyi Makinde of Ibadan and of Oyo State, and of course I of Ayoshe. And Seyi is saying on the Bodija explosion, FG promised 50 billion naira, released 30 billion naira, withheld 20 billion naira. All right? And then Atiku demands fresh legislative process for tax laws. 34 lawyers fail integrity test for appointment to Federal High Court bench. More on these stories on the Nigerian Tribune. And we've got this zoning. ADC keeps Atiku Obi Amici waiting. All right. And then NNPCL, no longer regulator of oil industry, Ojulari declares. Dr. Da, what are your perspectives?
Yeah, I have purposely left the Fayoshe Sheyi's feud till this point. You recall that both of them were friends. But you know, politicians, if the game is not working in the direction of either party, they float what you call trial balloons in political communication. What are trial balloons? Each of them is presenting narrative before the media to gain public sympathy or favor. In this case, if you follow the story you have just read, it's an established fact that the federal government promised 50 billion. And like Sheyi said, only 30 billion was released and the remaining 20 is yet to be released. So if you look at it critically, Fayoshe is right in saying the government gave 50 billion. But from what Makinde has said, only 30 was released and the remaining 20 has not been released. That may be tied to the political alignment and realignment they have been talking about. Think about this. If the 50 billion was meant to assuage the plight of those who were victims of the explosion, why do we need political alignment calculation before such monies can be released? Which will mean, in the first instance, the sincerity of purpose in the release of that money was not really clear. It was a bit tied to politics. If indeed government was interested in helping victims of that disaster, I don't know why the money has been delayed up till now. Fayoshe and Makinde have been friends, but you know, politicians like to engage in mudslinging. And Fayoshe felt, Makinde felt, Fayoshe has not been consistent in the way he addresses issues, and that he's not ready to deal with a character like him. If you also listen to what Wike said if Makinde told him that if Fayoshe will remain a friend of Wike, Makinde will no longer associate with Wike. You will realize that it is a character issue here. Fayose will need to go back to the basis of this trajectory or narratives around him to ask himself, the presentation you have made and the reaction of this individual, is it not about your character that is in question here? But Nigeria being Nigerians, we are not concerned about their politics. All of them are fighting for self-interest and political preservation. That is not what Nigerians need at this time. What Nigerians need are individuals who can offer service that will better the lives of Nigerians. As for the other headline that kept recording with reference to the judges, young men and women, I had a long philosophical conversation with a friend day before yesterday on the state of our nation. And the guy said it's part of our evolution. And I was wondering, in the past, you had men who stood for integrity. Today, what we have is individuals who worship money, who boast about their material wealth, not the values they bring to the society. Because of this nature, people now see a political position, judicial positions as avenue where they can amass wealth quickly to their advantage. Who will drive the political orientation needed for the society? NOA that ought to do this job, they are not doing their job. The Ministry of Information, the Cultural Ministry, they are not doing their job. So there's a complete breakdown of those critical sectors that ought to put this country on the right track. And since there is a mad rush for material acquisition, nobody is listening to anybody. The only voice that all of us are listening to now is the voice of money. And it's very unfortunate. We cannot succeed as a society. We will continue on this trajectory. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Dan, thank you very much. And just before you go, let me get your perspectives and thinking along the lines of an incident that happened yesterday where the highly respected Dr. Don Pedro Obaseki was attacked by a mob, by some youths, and they were so dehumanized. It was stripped naked, dragged across the streets of Benin City, and all of that. I don't know if you follow that story. What you make of it? Because this seeming, trend of mob action, gangsterism is becoming so prevalent and common in the state today. I'd like to get your perspectives on this.
Yes, I condemn that action in totality. If you follow what has happened, the argument is that Dr. Pedro insulted the Royal Palace of Benin while he was in London. I'm asking myself one question. If the man, funny enough, Dr. Pedro is the chief of the palace, he's an enogi of a community around the local government area of Edo State. If somebody of his caliber commits such an offense, does the palace not have mechanism of discipline with his chiefs? Why the resort to Togri? You recall that this same thing happened when the opening of MOA was to take place. This same set of thugs were the ones that were sent to disrupt MOA. If you follow the conversation and narratives on social media, anybody that spoke against either the activities of the palace or the way certain issues have been managed in the state, there is this boasting on social media that anytime they are cited in the state, they will be dealt with. And that is exactly what they have done to Don Pedro. The police is culpable in this. When the man was dragged all the way from Uwa, the videos were already trending. Or to the point where he was taken to the palace, and the palace now insisted that he should be taken to the police station. The question you ask yourself is, which offense did he commit? Don't forget, the commissioner of police from the report visited him in the police station about 2 or 3 times before he finally ordered his release. What offense did he commit in the first place? The police that ought to be the custodian of individuals' rights, when in a way, looking the other way, if they continue in this, the cycle of violence you find in this state will not stop. These young men who carried out this action are well known. Rather than taking action, rather than get them arrested, it appears that they have special protection from those in state authority. Society that promotes hooliganism, thuggery, is not a civil society. Such a society is in a Hobbesian state, the state of nature, where those who are strong will always oppress the poor. And we cannot continue like this. I condemn this action in totality. Dr. Pedro is a personal friend. We share ideas about what can make this society better. Rather than helping this society, we take to the path of violence. It is not good for our society. And I urge the Commissioner of Police to arrest the individuals who humiliated a man of his caliber. The best I know is that there's free speech. If a man abuses you, you have a right to abuse him back. Rather than take it to self-help, is what the law frowns against. The governor of the state.
Dr. Dan, I'm deeply concerned by the seeming situation wherein these young guys, they have now made themselves to become the accuser, the prosecutor, the counsel, and the judge. What gives them that, effrontery to act in this stead is still something of a huge concern. And if you watch that video clearly, you'll find the point they got to the palace, and the palace chief who responded to them said, this is the period of ceremony. This is a period of merrymaking. People are happy. People are celebrating. We don't want crisis in the land. So, in a sense, the palace has dissociated itself from this action by these young men. And where we have this kind of situation wherein people now arrogate powers to themselves to designate certain people as being the Oba's enemy and not the Oba's. It is the revered monarch who has that authority, that prerogative to so designate anyone who has run foul of the laws of the land as an enemy. Until that happens, these young people, these youths who have now constituted themselves into some sort of authority, do they have that liberty to do so? And I also heard you saying that the security agents are culpable in this matter. I mean, if someone of Dr. Pedro's status could be taken from Owa, forced to march round, that long length of road until he got to the palace or got to the police station. So anything could have happened along the way. And I mean, I'm just concerned. I'm really, really concerned that we've gotten to this level where people will just arrogate powers to themselves. They will execute those powers in broad daylight, even in presence of security agents, and then we're here.
What I will say is that this have stayed backing. Look at the individuals on that video. If you can get the pictures of those in the Moa case, these same individuals were the individuals involved. The summary of all of it is that they are backed by the state. What many of these people fail to realize is that you don't build a society on violence. You don't build a society on thuggery. You end up chasing the wise men, the civil individuals who can bring investment into the society to play. I watched a video of one of your staff that was posted on social media, Sydney Shaka, about a man whose fence, because of the heavy flooding in the area, the fence fell, and the man wanted to redo the fence, and they asked him to pay 500,000 for the evaluation of his land. He has stayed for 10 years. But who will listen to that man? Will the police be ready to protect the man? We are pushing our society to a state of lawlessness. And those in power, this is a preparation to what we're going to see in 2027. They are boldly individuals. What you are going to see is that if you speak against the ruling party, the ruling government, they will send these individuals after you, and you will be beaten up just to silence you. Should we continue like this? Should we continue like this? I imagine the trauma Dr. Pedro would have gone through since yesterday till now. A man who has produced films to promote the Benin culture, the man who has spoken well about the Benin culture. Those who want to go into politics, in politics, there are bound to be political disagreement. And what I've found very funny, this dealing with Pedro is a product of the fact that he aligns with his cousin, former governor of the state, Godwin Obaseki. And that is why any individual associated with him, there's a deliberate attempt to say they will deal with him or her. What is the genesis of all of these issues? It's about the governance of the state, the governance of the society. If we want the society to be good for all of us, why don't we obey the laws of the land? Laws are made for the benefit of the individuals, for the benefit of society, so that we will have a system that works for all. Every now and then, once there's a little disagreement, young men are recruited to deal with the individuals. And unfortunately, the young men are not thinking about their future. They have allowed these individuals who are urging them on to continue in the lifestyle they've lived over the years. They will raise children in the same trajectory. And you have people who are hooligans. You cannot drive fully on the street. You cannot express your mind about any issue. And we want to say, this is the type of Edo state we want. The state government will come out and tell you now that they have no hand in it. But will they deal with the individuals that were involved? Will you get them arrested and try them for their action? Like I said, the preparation towards 2027, their plan is to continue to harass individuals that speak against the government or those in authorities. I expect the spokesperson of the palace to call the individuals who are involved in this. If people speak against the king or the palace, the spokesman of the palace or the spokesman of the palace is in a position to react that this is not what the palace represents. But we keep quiet over all of this. Statements have not been issued after almost 24 hours after this incident. I will continue to live. Watch the way they remove his jersey, stripped him naked because they want to prove a point or they want to humiliate him. I honestly pray that the governor of the state will listen to the voice of reasoning and insist that thuggery should stop in this state. If it does not stop, 2028 will come and the reality of our Edo politics will play out. Those who understand the way we behave as a people, we are not people that can easily be swayed to one direction. We are reasonable, we are civil people, we are civilized, we are educated people, we are not barbaric. So those in authority should get these individuals arrested and silence their actions. We must have a society that works for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dan Ikaravo, for the shared perspectives on this issue that is of global concern. I said earlier when we had a short conversation with my colleagues here in the studio, in my interaction with the European ambassador to Nigeria and ECOWAS, he was very specific that when you have this kind of scenario, it's going to be very difficult for you to attract foreign investors. And I may be right, I may be wrong, except we have the facts there to establish, that issue. What is the current state of the foreign direct investment into Edo State? And his concern was in that direction. When you create that kind of atmosphere of fear, atmosphere of violence, banditry, brigandage, like we're seeing today, where thugs are having a field day, molesting people, harassing people, beating people, slapping people, kicking people, and doing all kinds of stuff, foreign investors will definitely be scared, and they will be distracted, disinterested in coming to invest in your state. And when that continues for a long time, the government of the state is also going to be held accountable. Like you mentioned, voters in Edo State have a way of thinking, have a way of reasoning. They don't really just follow one direction. When the time comes, they will respond to you based on their perception of the quality of leadership that you have provided. That is why it's important that this matter should not be swept under the carpet. Those responsible for this dastardly act should be brought to justice. The police command in Edo State must do something about this and get those involved brought to justice. They don't have any right whatsoever to take the laws into their hands. take the laws into their hands, and they're so dehumanized. A highly respected cultural ambassador like Dr. Don Pedro Obaseki, who has been at the forefront in promoting Edo culture, traditions, and custom in every opportunity that he's had. And to be so dehumanized, it means nobody is safe. It also means, I ask the question, who is next? Who is going to be the next of this kind of inhuman treatment? Only time will tell. We'll keep our fingers crossed and hope that the authorities in charge will look at this issue dispassionately and give it adequate attention for the perpetrators to be brought to book. We'll take a short break. When we return, Abuja NATO Studio will be taking over on TMI on the ITV network. Please stay tuned.
Alright, you're still watching the program this morning on ITV. Of course, it's now time for us to look at issues that have to do with security. Of course, if you've been following the media, you understand that at the weekend of a few hours ago, there were some persons who have been drafted into the security architecture of the country as the forest guard. About 7,000 of them graduated at the weekend, and they withdraw into the current fights against insurgency, especially at where we normally term as ungoverned areas, which are the forests and those places where most Nigerians feel that is the hiding, that is the hiding point for criminals, especially bandits and insurgents. On Christmas Day morning, we got good cheering news from the United States that some elements of those elements that we tag enemies of the country were targeted, and most Nigerians say, well, it's a good one. But so others are still feeling that the intervention of the U.S. is against the sovereignty of a country as big as Nigeria. But that's not our major concern. We'll be looking at the issue of security generally and the recruitment of the service guard. But we have a very formidable that have been trying their best. The corporate efforts now to see how they assist the government in security. I'm talking about the Nigerian Forest Service. Forest Service,
Nigeria Forest Security Service.
Thank you for correcting me. I have the Controller General of Nigeria Forest Security Service here in the studio, Joshua Osatimi. A very good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Well, let me take you on insecurity generally before we look at the issue of discussion. It's 2025. Many persons said this year Christmas is one without any attack on any of the churches. Some persons are attributing it to the bombardment by the United States on the terrorist camp on the 24th. I don't know whether you that thought also.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Once again, good morning, Nigeria. I think I do say that in everything in governance, it's all about leadership. That is why we Nigeria need to continue to pray and support this present administration under the leadership of our president, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And you know, when you see the body language presidency, right from inception, you know that is as a zero tolerance to insecurity. And that is what we are seeing now in the last celebration. And I believe it's as a result of the proactive mayor of the government and all the security chiefs, the NSA, they have been on top of the game for months. I know they will have issues. There are bound to be issue of kidnapping, action, banditry, and the rest. But with the coming up of all the new service chiefs and the support of the governors across the country with the presidency, I believe the new Nigeria that we are expecting is about to be given back to. And
in other sense,
yes, we are moving in the right direction now.
Okay, let's look at the service of the Forest Service. Let's begin with your own organization. Even though at the weekend we saw the graduation of about 7,000 into the security architecture. We've followed your contribution for quite some time now through our own defense correspondent. We've seen what you've done so far. Give us your own take of what you feel is the problem, especially the ungoverned space that we talked about, where your men are also concentrating, ensuring that we dismantle these criminal elements.
Yeah, thank you. I think I said it now. I said with the body language of Mr. President, you know that there is no hiding place for criminals. And that is what led to the approval of Mr. President for the establishment of Forest Guard. And as it is today, we all watch it over the news that 7,000 have gone for training and they have come back. You know, I do say this, that this will be the best government in history of this country so far, it's the return of the news of democracy. And thank God that we have somebody like Malam Nuru Ribado, NSA, is on top of the game. Because without his, all this, what we are saying today, the issue of Forest Guard initiative would not be realized. I said there is a huge gap in the national security, which is the forested security. And for government to have also understood and reasoned with our advocacy for this approval, I think is a big achievement. And we need to commend Mr. President for that and all the security chiefs. Because when you are talking about the forest security, they are the one in charge of the area in our country. Nigeria, for example, have a total of 92 million hectares, and the forested area is about 9.1, meaning that if Nigeria is divided in 9 portions today, 1/9 of it constitute the forest, and this forest has been left open unprotected, unsecure, ungoverned for years. So with this administration now huge gap that are really affecting our national security, I think is highly commendable.
Is the number sufficient? Looking at the huge
yeah, this one will be graduated, and I tell as I'm telling you now that more than 4,000 are already in the trade. By January, many are still coming up. It's a gradual submission, and you have the size of the training schools, the colleges, and the rest. But I'm assuring you, with this initiative, I believe we will serve as a first responders, first line of defense in every community. Because this is how these forest guards are being drawn. Before you can be enlisted and go for training, you must be able to make sure the number of forest reserve in your state. For example, if you are from Enugu, Enugu has 70 local government with 20 forest reserve. And there is a volatile forest hotspot in Enugu, about 9 of it. So you should be able to measure 1 out of these 9. And the forest leakages, you must be able to know. So the NSA have done justice, have done a very great job by identifying this gap. And I'm assuring you that the issue of overstressing the military and the police now will be reduced, because this forest guard will be empowered to carry herbs, so they can even defend without calling on the police or the military. But if they know that the power is much, that is when they can be called upon. And you can see that everybody be professionalized in their own field.
I was actually coming to the mode of operation of the forest guard, which you rightly mentioned. They've been trained our front guard for boundary, especially when it comes to intelligence. But let's look at the issue of recruitment again. You said those who are recruited must have your pure knowledge of
the local terrain
they have.
And
do you think that is what is obtainable? Because we know that in recruitment in Nigeria, it's always who know who, and we get the right person.
This system of recruitment is different from normal conventional policing. This is a local-based security network. You will be recruited where you live. Okay. You work where you are living, so that you must be able to know all the forests in your area interlinked, all the nautical miles of the forest in your state. So, and before you can be recruited, the traditional institution in your local government or in your state must be able to say 1 or 2 things. There's a column that you will sign, that the traditional institution or the traditional ruler will sign, the DPO and DSS. So these 3 people, there's no way you can circumvent your way out of them. So one of them must be able to know whom you are. And you must live, you must have lived there for at least nothing less than 5 years. So these are the basic requirements for you to be recruited or enlisted.
And you're saying that these persons cannot be channeled by, just like the issue of state policing, while Nigerians are saying, look, it is not right for states to have their own state policing. Do you think the issue of forest guard, since you said you must have...
yes, I do say it that I said with the coming up of a forest guard, I believe Nigeria doesn't need any state police, because as a forest guard or forester, you are to be present at your locality at any point in time. With this, if there is any threat or danger, you are the first line of defense in that community, and that is what we mean by state police. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. And the community, our community has been overcrowded with a security agency. We have the police, we have the DSL, we have the civil defense, we have NIA and DIA, road safety, immigration, NDLA, all within the town. It's only the forested area that is left ungoverned. So coming up of forest security, it will go a long way to close the gap, so that there will be interagency collaboration, interagency synergy. So with this, I believe Nigeria doesn't need state police. Indirectly, the president and the NA and practically introduced state policing. You understand? Initially, across the state, because if 130,000 forest guard will be recruited and deployed to all our various forests, and with the number of forest terrain, they say Nigeria were 1,100 forest reserve, 9 game reserve national park, and we also have 417 grazing reserve that span across 21 local government. So if about 130,000 men are being injected into the forest, definitely they sanitize the forest. You can look at the body language and the word of NSA. It's after degradation, you do immediately. And that's what we call regional combing. As you are combing southeast, you are combing northwest. Northeast, southwest. So you deradicalize them, you destabilize them from their base. From there, we now do what we call forest retention. So the logic and the strategy is already on ground. I will be limited to our operation now because I'm on air. But I'm assuring you, with this, what Mr. President and the NSA have done, I think in country of some
Nigerians will be expecting so much from.
Yes, and I'm assuring you that.
Let's take our minds back to some of the activities you've done so far as the NFSS. What are some of those major achievements you feel that Nigeria should look at for the year 2025 as we go forward? Because I know...
Is it our past success story?
Past story that will make Nigerians have confidence in the security guards.
Thank you. We have a lot of... Even, now it's not that we are coming up as a government agency. Before, we volunteer ourselves. Even as a volunteer, with our little capacity, we have recorded a lot of sources. When you go to Bauchi Northeast, more than 800 of our members have been working with the Governor Bala Mohammed for the past 6 years. And when you look at Bauchi State, it's relatively calm among the Northeast. So we are the one securing the forest. And let me tell you one major achievement that was achieved this year and last year. When there's, last year there is a kidnapping issues that happened in Osara University in Kogi State. We are the one that went after them to recover those students in collaboration with the military. And by now, we lack power. If we synergize or we collaborate with the military or the police and go to media and say this is what we have done, because they are the father of security. Do you understand what I'm saying? But by the time we are autonomous now, definitely we can do all this for ourselves and make report. But I'm telling you that we have done a lot. In Kogi State, about 50 of our members in each local government are working with the governor of Kogi. And Kogi has 21 local government. Meaning that's 50 times 21, that's 1,050. We are the one. The incident that happened in us made governor to commission 1,050 of our members. In Badagiri area, February, there was a kidnapper or the kidnapping issue that took place there. We are the one that went after, were able to arrest part of this 21 kidnapper in DC. And as I talk to you now, the governor of Lagos State has commissioned about 405 of our members that are working with the governor of Lagos State. Also in Southeast, about 2,600 youth have been recruited into this organization by the executive governor of Ebonyi State. It's because of what we did. They are free the local government. There's a forest there that our people detected over 600 scores, human score. This motivated the governor that if we can do this without being empowered, he gave us more than 500 of our members, they are salary there. But he paid for their recruitment and trained them 200 in a boy. And so many others like that. And one notable one, again, there was a time there was a bomb blast or maybe they bomb the railway corridor, the train that is going from Kaduna from Abuja to Kaduna. The Ministry of Transportation has engaged 100 of our members on teleguided movement there. We are the ones working with the military to get intelligent. Then,
yeah, quite a lot of achievements in the last 1 year. Well, we'll go to a quick break, and when we return, I will see the Commander General of the NSA in the studio with us.
Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year from Independent Television and Radio.
The new Edion expressed excitement as he danced and rejoiced before the Esama of Benin, Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawori Benedion, who also joined in the dance. Regarding their new office as Edion,
that I grew up in this community to the point that they have now also chosen me as an elder in this community. It's a thing of great joy. All thanks to the Esama of Benin, my people, my family, everybody, all Okada community for this great honor. I am very, very grateful.
Well, this is my brother. I'll call him my uncle because he grew up with my father. I'm so proud of him because we are doing the same rituals as the Indians of the Okada. It is our duty for us to make this place a greater place. for outsiders to come and see the goodness of God in Okada. And I'm proud of every one of us here. So shall it be to each and every one of us in Jesus' name.
Waya wa wesu ọjọ́ ni màá Okada zima Isama zima dion Ebuna zima dion Ọbala zima dion màá rí ọrẹ Sama dion náà ni màá tó pọ́n mi Sama ni màá tó gbé kẹ́ni Sama màá di òwò ẹ̀rẹ́ náà Isama màá gbé kẹ́ni ẹ̀ ọ̀sàbọ̀ ọ̀bùyọ̀bí tó ọ̀nà ìyàbá nọ́ọ̀gì ẹ̀tọ́ ni màá gà nọ́ọ̀dí àmì màá gà mẹ́ màá ní tó gbé kẹ́ni ẹ̀dẹ̀lẹ́ náà ìmà yáfẹ́ ìmà àtọ̀ o ìmà àgbọ̀n o ọ̀dọ̀pá ìwúwo dòrì ìmà àti àwọ̀ rẹ̀ náà ọ̀bẹ tí àgbọ̀n yá náà èmi màá gà mẹ́ ẹni Jésù Kristi náà mi wà fà.
In Isama, in our father's house, in respect of our initiation to elders Idion level, as tradition demands, we are here today to come and also pay our homage to him, for him to also pray for us for long life and prosperity.
The climax after 7 days was paying of homage again to the Odion Way, where he gave the initiates the full rights to function and to henceforth participate in meetings with Odion. It will go down in the history and minds of Okada community, Ovia people, Edo State, and Nigeria in general. The ambience, style, and the colorful ceremony associated with the 2025 initiation into the Edion Council of former Governor of Edo State, Chief Lucky Nosagari Igbenedion, his brothers Bright Ayamekwe Igbenedion, Honorable Charles Osenwige Igbenedion, Peter Osawari Igbenedion, Dr. Fred Osanwi Igbenedion, Barrister Mike Osane Igbenedion, Executive Director Operation.
Move from one state to another. A forester can enter Okebu from Okebu in Oyo State, enter Kwara, Yikmata, Sare Saraji, enter Begu, that is Niger. From Niger, you can enter Kebbi. Kebbi, you can enter Safara. Do you understand what I'm saying? Sokoto Safara. From there, you enter Katsina. From there, Jigawa, Kano, Jigawa. From there, you can enter Borno State. You can see the interlink. All these interlinkages, we have men on ground.
Okay, I know time will not permit us to go beyond but let's look at 2026. Already we ended the year 2025, although there were some hands full of just a very few attacks in some states, especially the Borno Mosque attack where we had just few percent like that. But a light is a light. But your projection for 2026, what should we be expecting?
Yeah, I project a better year ahead, better than 2025. And in Yoruba, they say, if Sunday will be good, you know it from Saturday. And with what you are seeing now this December, with the body language of Mr. President and the NSA proactiveness, you should know that Nigeria should expect a better year, 2026, especially in area of security and criminality within the forested zone. I'm assuring Nigeria that both either within Nigeria or outside Nigeria, they should come home and come and invest. Mr. President is on top of the game. He's ready to curb and to reduce criminality to barest minimum. I'm assuring Nigeria the 2026 is going to be more prosperous and more secure than 2025.
All right, I must thank you so much, the Commander General, Nigerian Forest Security Service, Joshua Osatime. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you. You're welcome. It's a great honor to be here. Thank you, sir.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and when we return, we'll be joining our Lagos studio for the continuation of the program.
Omonoba Nedu Ukwakolopolo, Ewai II, Oba of Benin, stepped out majestically with loud crowd to perform the Sultan rites of his late mother, Queen Mother Ioba Omoni Ikoyeme, Ioba Ewai II, who departed this world 49 years ago. Isoton is a traditional rite of the procession in memory of the departed person's spirit in Benin Kingdom. It is usually heralded by public display of the departed person's influence during their sojourn on earth. The display of a human effigy symbolizing the departed royal matriarch was preceded by the Oba of Benin, who led the procession from his palace to the Immortal Shrine at King Square in Benin City, where he offered prayers for the repose of the soul of the Queen Mother, Ioba Ewai II.
Many thanks for staying with us. We're still on CMI this beautiful morning on ITV. I am Marcelina Unkwo, and our guest this morning that will be helping us analyze today's topic is, hello, good morning.
Good morning, Marcelina. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Give God glory for being alive.
Thank you so much for coming,
Yes,
Bishop.
Thank you.
Okay, this beautiful morning, we would be talking about one of the biggest political talking points today is a recent U.S.-backed military strike against ISIS-linked militant camp in Sokoto State. You know, earlier on, President Donald Trump publicly announced the strike and framed them as aimed at countering militants targeting Christians. The Nigerian government authorized the strike, which was carried out with the U.S. support as part of the ongoing counter-terrorism effort in the Northwest. This has sparked widespread debate domestically about sovereignty, security, strategy, and communication from the federal government. Some sees it as decisive action against extremist group that Nigerian security forces have struggled to contain, while the Sokoto Authority in Kan has also seen this as a renewed focus on eliminating militant base. Bishop Oshodi. You know, this particular topic has been trending, the fact that Trump came out earlier, you know, he has been talking about the Christian genocide, and all of a sudden, December 25th, on Christmas Day, he came out to announce that he has sent a strike has been made in Sokoto State. And we also saw that some of all these bandits, they got the information and they're relocating out of the place that they are. They're relocated out, and a lot of persons are in support of what the U.S. is doing, saying that since our own government, you know, is not doing it, it's not like they're not doing anything. I mean, they're not doing much on the insecurity issue in the country. And now that the U.S. is in, so persons are in support, while a lot of persons are not in support. What is your take?
All right, to start with, let me, in point of correction, I'm apostle, I'm not bishop.
Apostle.
Apostle Jerry.
Yeah.
Fully, I'm in support of the American intervention.
Okay.
All right. Then, like what I used to say, with that cause, there is no effect. You understand? America intervention, I want America to go wide. If really they want to help Nigeria in this issue of insecurity. You see, insecurity in the sense, we look to look at insecurity from different dimensions. One, we're talking of the insurgents, the terrorists at the bush. We have insecurity at the government house. And that is why it looks as if Nigeria government, not it looks as if, Nigeria government were not concerned if Nigeria were being killed. Yeah, because whether they like it or not, they are involved. Ask me how.
How?
Oh, good. Let me take not too long, 2023. Nigeria's soul were kidnapped by the people in government. And how did they do this? They use some of these boys we call insurgent today as an instrument. So now it looks as if they are governing us, the people they kidnap from the state house, while the insurgent, the people they used to get to the office, are governing us from the bush. So you will agree with me that both of them, they work together. That is why it looks as if a village is attacked, the government of Nigeria will not be concerned. The president will travel. If you will hear that there was a bomb blast in one village or the other, entire village was wiped out in the morning. Before evening, the president will travel. Not even because they are working hand in hand. These were their products. These people are governing us from the bush, and they are governing us from the state house. All right? So if America is coming, well, I have to take a word from Trump that this is just a strike from the many that is coming. You understand? I believe this one is for the one at the bush, and they should also help us to save the soul of the nation from the one at the state house. Because that is where 2027 is at hand. If they finish these people at bush, by 2026, these politicians are going to recruit another Nigeria youth, weaponize them, for them to get into the office, while these people will go back to the bush.
Wow.
So if we want to talk about insecurity or fight insecurity, we should look at it from the state house.
Okay, is it that most of those bandits, they're being given information? Because credible community leaders says that they notice the movements as some hoodlums migrated in small numbers after the Christmas Day attack. Like they saw them relocating, these terrorists relocating from the bush that they actually were, you know, after the missile attack. Is it that, would you say that most of those terrorists, they're actually working with the government?
These questions have answered himself long ago. How? Let me give you an instance. When this president dispensation came into power, few weeks or few months before they came in, there was an issue in the Nigeria Delta area, states of Nigeria, where the military men were attacked. I think about 6 of them also were killed. And the state government ordered the military men to wipe out that community. Now, at the insurgent issue, these terrorists in the north, when somewhere few weeks or few months later also, such things occurred, repeat itself at the northern part, where I think Niger State, and the government said they should go and negotiate with these people. You understand? Who are they negotiating with? Are they spirits? So they are good friends. Just take, for instance, the school girls that were just kidnapped I think sometime November or September, thereabout. Few days later, we heard that they were released after negotiation.
Yeah, and it has got a lot of people talking. Why would they be negotiating?
That's what. So the negotiation issue is that they are co-partners. They work together. They understand their language. Who were the people that went there to negotiate with them? Were you one of them? No. They can't send you and they won't listen to you, or else they will even kidnap you. So they know themselves. Take this from me, man. Have there, before America stepped in, have there been any issues of kidnapping or being these people attacking village that the government were concerned? No. Shetima, we saw Shetima went to visit them just because America have said something. All this while they have been in office. All the ones that happen in George, all the ones that happen in Benue, all the ones that happen in this Sokoto, the Castinas and so many, then the, what they call Zamfara and so forth and so on. No one that the government have deemed it fit to visit and see what is happening. Even the one in Benue, they pretend to go. They went there for campaign. So, man, they should tell us the truth. I think if America want to help us, they should come and help us from the political insecurity.
Okay, thank you so much, Apostle Geraldine Oshedin. How do you assess the approval and coordination process between Nigeria and the U.S. for the strikes? Was Nigeria in full control, or did it hide operational leadership? You know, Nigeria, they were actually, you know, they accepted the fact that they had conversations. I mean, they knew all those things, and they accepted it. Well, how would you explain that?
Oh, good. Let's come this way. America, I will say this way, that America understands the issue of insecurity about Nigerians than we in Nigeria, apart from the government, who knows what they are doing. All right? And if America would have come and leave Nigeria in full support, don't forget that some of these Boko Harams are with the military men. So which means America would have aided them on by giving them on equipment. You understand? So what they just need to do is let's come to a neutral understanding. You understand? Come in support and let us help you. You will from the foreign media before Nigeria. So which means
targeting those he claimed were being accused of genocide against Christians. According to him, in his words, he said, Nigeria made a grave mistake by allowing foreign military involvement, arguing that terrorists do not fight terrorists in truth, but rather end up killing innocent people while pursuing hidden agendas. He warned that no nation should permit its territory to become a theater of war, allow foreign powers to turn its neighbor into enemies, adding that the U.S. involvement will attract anti-America forces to Nigeria. What would you have to say about that? I mean, we all know that Sheikh Gumi has not been in support. He has been the one negotiating, actually, with the bandits. He has not been in support with all those bandits, insecurity of oil and all of that.
Is the bridge between the federal government and the insurgents. This is a man that's supposed to have been lamenting in the prison in a country where there is justice and fairness. Who is this man called Gumi that have been negotiating? I think America should have even helped us to arrest this man. Hence the Nigerian government don't, because Nigerian government is their instrument. They can talk to him. You understand? They can't talk to him. Listen, man, if a young man in Nigeria today, they call the Yahoo boys, all right, in one of these villages, Yahoo anybody, DSS, EFCC in Abuja, we trace them down to the village and pick them up. The insurgent we kill, they will video it, show it, put it on social media. The DSS and EFCC and co will not be able to track them. They won't track them. But they can track Yahoo boys right there in the village. This is security little wise, man, in this country. America should come out and save the soul of Nigeria from the state house. Listen and hear me well. Abacha said this still long ago, that if insurgents survive 24 hours, the government is involved.
If insurgents survive
24 hours,
the government
is involved. And these people have been ruling us for over 15 years. And somebody is between the government and the insurgent negotiating on how.
I mean, apart from Shegun, a lot of persons are not in support of this. Former PDP spokesman Shegun Shomi criticized the timing and effectiveness of this intervention in Nigerian terrorism crisis, that this is not the right timing. I mean, when is supposed to be the right timing?
Okay, let me tell you something. Go and check those who are not in support. They are all politicians. And they are the mother of this insecurity in this country. I've told you something, and I said, let America finish all these people at the bush. Come 2026, this politician will recruit another people from Senegal, from Ghana, from Mali, just for them to get to power, to kidnap the soul of this nation, Nigeria.
So what you're basically saying, Apostle Jeritan, is that most of those terrorists, they're not Nigerians. Because you just said they would recruit from other
of course.
Countries.
We have foreigners among them. We have foreigners among them. The late president of this nation, former president who is late now, we had it on the news that if he didn't come to power, dog will lick blood on the street. They went and recruit people from Niger and others. Thank God for Jonathan, who says that his ambition does not want the soul of a Nigerian, and quietly hand over to them. Listen and hear me, Westman. If we really, you see, when the righteous people, I blame this thing to our religious fathers and all, when the righteous people failed to do their right, the wicked will spend their money to get it off. You understand? You know what it takes them to recruit these people, equip them and empower them, use them during the elections, and when they now win and come to office, they leave these people at the bush. They work hand in hand. So if there is no understanding between them, they want for negotiation, and that is what they have been using grooming. So the former PDP man that is saying it's not in support, that it's not the right time, I think he would have got to his turn before he knew it's the right time. Yeah. Because, you know, a man is painful. He would have got to his time before he knew. Maybe they would have kidnapped his wife or his children before he knew it's the right time. I'm even saying America, I thank them for coming out, but I say they're delayed.
A human rights lawyer, Fumi Falani, called Nigerians' insecurity situation shameful and embarrassing, arguing foreign involvement as federal leadership failures. Do you think it's federal leadership failures at this point?
Is it, as failure, is that not an understatement? You understand? Jonathan said something a few days ago, a few weeks ago, months ago, that it is difficult to wake somebody that sleeping, how do they call it? That somebody that is sleeping naturally, it's not difficult to wake him up. But when you form your sleep, it's difficult to wake them. You understand? Now, when you said that it's shameful to them, I said it's because, number one, they knew what the cause of this problem of the insecurity. So they can't stop it because they were the one that brought them in. So they are part of the government. They are part of the government. If they are not part, listen, they will kill, they will video it, put it on social media with their face opened, and no one has been arrested. Now the same security men we have in Nigeria, the DSS, the EFCC, we go as far to villages and start picking Yahoo boys. say they track them, but they can't track these people?
I mean, that have been, there have been a lot of speculations where people are saying that, okay, you go, especially this 130 guest that was actually rescued a few days back last week. You know, a lot of persons have been saying that, okay, you went there, rescued us, the students or those PPUs and the teachers, and nobody was arrested, nobody was apprehended.
Who did they negotiate with? The animals in the bush? The negotiation was done in the government house. I just asked them, bring these people, my friend. Even they said, the politicians, the people in the government today should be asked. America should help and save the soul of this nation. Election is coming again. Which kidnapping is as good as that? Snap it, snatch it, break their head and run away with it. Then when they do that, you go to the judiciary that's supposed to have defended the common man. The hope of the common man become the rope of the common man. You understand? And we tell you, look at what is happening in Edo State today now. They snapped it, they run away with it. Now they are in the office and their boys is in the street, terrorizing who is harassing them. Look at that man, they stuck naked yesterday. I was watching that video and I saw a policeman inside there.
Dr. Dan.
He could not do the petrol Baseki also. The policeman could not do anything. He was just walking along with them. Why? Because these people that is he harassing this man or insulting him is part of the government. They are ruling from the street while the government is ruling from the office. So if Edo State were given their heart, what they purchased, if it is what they were given, the vote, their vote were what they were giving to. I don't think this such a thing. For good 8 years Obaseki was in government, we didn't see such a thing. Because that was the choice of these people. Now Edo State have just chosen, they force somebody, they kidnap Edo State. And look at what is happening now. Which insurgent is as great as that? So if we want to start fighting insecurity, we should fight it from the State House. We should fight it from Aso Rock. It's just like what the pastors are doing, my fellow pastor man. I said, this is a great time now. We have been casting out demons from churches, small demons. The great demons is in Aso Rock. And we are supporting them. Look at what is happening now. All the politicians, they're coming home for the first time. I start seeing on television, senators want this, share a bag of rice, share this because they know election is coming. And as these people who go there to pick this thing, to collect this rice and all this is for them, never knew that they want to lure them into the forest. They are kidnappers.
Apostle Jerriton, do you think this airstrike like this have a lasting impact on extremist network, or are they only temporary tactical actions?
Yeah, if it will be an everlasting, we should look at the mothers, the source of this insecurity in this nation. If they just come this way and go back, it will trigger it more. You understand? Yeah, because in every cause, in every effect, there is a cause. And if you don't treat it from the cost, you have not done anything. America have not done anything. They just come to enlighten us or to expose the government or to tell Nigeria more that the government is involved. If America, far away from us, know where the insurgents hide and blacks them, then the Nigerian securities are folding their hand, telling us they don't know where they are. That is an exposure. They have exposed them, their weakness. You understand? So, but I'm begging on America, if Trump will have a way of hearing this from me, I want to beg him sincerely that he should stand firm to defend Nigeria politically, especially for this coming election 2025, and let the choice of Nigeria comes in, because that is my faith. In Proverbs, the Bible told me if you wake up in the morning, there is peace, there is job opportunity, there is money in your pocket, food at home. He said it's because the righteous is on throne. But he said if you wake up in the morning, no money in the pocket, insecurity, injustice everywhere, no job opportunity, God said, I'm not also responsible. It's because you allowed the wicked to be on throne. If America want to help Nigeria to fight this insecurity, they should come to help us to bring the righteous to throne. And let's flush out these men that have sealed their heart with hot iron.
On the Daily's newspaper yesterday, we saw that the federal government graduates 7,000 forest guards, orders immediate deployments. What must Nigerian security do at this point to do differently to ensure sustainable peace and security after foreign-led strikes? Because, I mean, we are saying that the government, the president has started, first of all, he withdrew VIPs from security, we withdrew the security personnel from VIPs, and now he has graduated 7,000 forest guard, and he has ordered immediate deployment. What do you think?
To start with, withdrawing the security from personnel, is that even what the issues? You should first of all equip them. You understand? We're not talking of personnel, not personnel. We're talking about Nigeria issue here. Regardless of who your personality or your kind of thing. Recruiting these people, my dear, I will tell you that they just planting them to fight their enemies. Hear me well. If with this present administration, you will discover that come 2026, when campaign will be going on, the opposition will not have security men around them, but the one in the seat will have security men across them. Because he is going to order who and who the security men should follow. So if you are not with him, the security men will not be with you. Let's allow it. So he's to fight whatever he's doing now, is to fight the enemy. Is to fight the enemy.
The issue of insecurity has been a major problem.
It's a major problem, and the mother of it all is the government, the people in power. You can't tell me that somebody will strike in one community and go scot-free. The same person will show the video where they are, put it on social media. These Yahoo boys does not video themselves. They don't do anything, but Nigeria Police, ESCC and co, DSS will track them. But the one that is obvious, they can't track them. Grooming walk across the street as one of the most, you go around with security. You go around with security men. And they can't try to withdraw their men. No, it's not possible. Who are they going to, for personnel, who are they going to withdraw their personnel from? It's the enemy now. You don't trust Nigeria? You trust Nigeria?
Yeah.
If America do mistakes and say, let them help Nigeria by giving them equipment, you will be surprised that the militant, the terrorists will be using those equipment against our Nigerian armies. And then you begin to ask yourself, where are they getting this?
Instead of using it to fight the terrorists. Wow.
Instead of using that to fight the terrorists.
A lot of Nigerians at this point, Apostle Jared Sinoshole, a lot of Nigerians are confused or worried about the foreign military involvement. How do you think the government at this point can explain to these Nigerians?
Come again.
A lot of Nigerians are worried, are confused and worried about the foreign military involvement. You know, some persons coming out to say that is actually the U.S. are they supposed to come to Nigeria? Is it that the leaders of this country, the leadership of this country, they don't know what they're supposed to do at the point? A lot of Nigerians are worried and are confused. How do you think the government can come out to tell them that, okay, because the government are in support of the strike?
Yeah.
You know, how would they come out to explain that, okay, we are in support of this thing, we already we're in support of what the US they're actually doing? How do you think they can come out to explain to Nigerians?
Oh, good. You know, these things have gone too wide that the government can no longer hide it. You understand? Okay. It's just like a child. When you have a little child, there is an extent you can hide the child. Then if you get to a level of time, you can no longer hide him. He either raise a voice or he jump out from the house. This insecurity issue in Nigeria have gone wide that they could no longer hide it. And now it is obvious that the whole world is aware of it. That is why they are pretending support.
So the whole world was
Where's your president on
happening
holiday?
in Nigeria?
Have your president not gone on holidays when there is fire in his house? So if he's concerned about the citizen, he should have suspended whatever he's doing to make sure now that America is trying to help him, to make sure he put an end to it.
So you think our president is not concerned about
Or is he concerned?
citizens?
Have there been any time any of them in the government is concerned? I've told you earlier that there is an issue they will just kill. I know what happened in Benue no time when they wipe up an entire community. The following morning, in the afternoon, the president traveled. The following day, the vice president traveled. And the Senate president will tell you, let them go and kill themselves. We are enjoying ourselves here. Let them protest and whatever. They have never been any type of concern. Because they are part of them. Let's hold it that way.
So they're part of them. They're working together.
These people are the government in the bush. While the other one is a government in the state house.
So you don't see this whole issue of insecurity ending anytime soon?
I know it's going to end now that America comes in. That is why I'm begging America to extend this thing, to spread their hand. This insecurity, you see, insecurity, we are looking at it, just kidnap. That is not only insecurity. Insecurity in an election where you vote, your result is torn. That is the highest one. America should spread their hand to help us for this coming election. You understand? Security. When people have to do what? Lack of it. The street now, every bus stop you see boys and girls doing nothing, smoking, taking hard drugs. Then after that, what do you expect from them? It's to get a means to survive. Anybody can approach them, give them knife, give them gun, and promise them money. They want to survive.
All right, thank you so
America
much.
should please come down fully to help us. Plus, first of all, to wipe out these people in the system.
Okay, Apostle Geraldine Oshodi has believed that if the American government should come fully to help Nigerians, that the insecurity issue or insecurity level in the country would be tackled. Thank you very much,
God bless you,
Apostle Geraldine Oshodi.
Marcelina, it is well with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. All right, this is all we've got for you from our Lagos Network studio. Thank you for joining us this beautiful morning on CMI. I am Marcelina Unkwa. Compliments of the season.
Good morning and welcome to ITV News Update. I am Chukufumnanya Digwe. Now, the Nigerian Army has said 881 ISWAP terrorists have surrendered and 438 neutralized during its third and fourth quarter operations. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Y.D. Shraibu, disclosed this during a Christmas luncheon with wounded troops of Operation Hadinkai at the Mailamari cantonment in Maiduguri, Borno State capital.
The Nigerian Army revealed the operational successes during the Chief of Army Staff Christmas luncheon with wounded troops of Operation Hadinkai at the Mailamari cantonment in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. The Chief of Army Staff, represented by Major General Godwin Mokut, says in addition, 254 weapons were recovered from insurgent enclaves and 366 civilians rescued.
Under his guidance, we have witnessed improving funding for critical operations, enhanced training infrastructure, the acquisition of modern equipment, and strengthening welfare initiatives for personnel and their families. Mr. President has equally approved an increase in our recruitment quota to significantly boost our manpower.
While appreciating the sacrifices of fallen heroes and the wounded, the Army Authority charged the theater to heighten offensive and counterinsurgency strategies against terrorists to restore normalcy in the region.
We remain focused and resolute in the charge to bring insurgency to an end in the northeast. The period also coincides with our dry season operations in the theater. I therefore assure the Chief of Army Staff of the unwavering commitment of our gallant forces to maintain the tempo of operations.
I also want to say that His Excellency has expressed without a flinch of doubt that he will continue to partner with the armed forces and provide maximum support to the armed forces in terms of equipment, logistics.
The Army promises improved security in the coming year 2026. John Teina, ITV News.
In another report, the 188th remembrance of the renowned Itv 29Th Odia of Benin Kingdom has been held in Benin City. Pius Nsogo reports that the ceremony, which also featured a memorial lecture by a professor of history, Professor Benson Usadolo, attracted a large crowd of family members, friends, and global associates, including the Esama of Benin and honorary Romanian consul to Edo and Delta States, said Chief Dr. Gabriel Usawari Benijon. Pius Nsogo reports.
Iyase Noenwe Odia was a prominent, wealthy, and influential Iyase of Benin Kingdom under Oba Osenwede, known for his significant success in expansion of Benin trade overseas, particularly in traditional fabrics and Edo special textiles. He became one of the richest palace chiefs in Benin Kingdom until he joined his ancestors about 1838. His descendants, who have now grown large and spread worldwide, came from different parts of the world for the epoch-making events, tracing the route of the legendary Prime Minister, known in Benin as Iyase. Professor Benson Osadolo said Iyase Noenwe Odia was a major economic and political figure, linking the traditional Benin power structure with booming overseas trade network through his deep thoughts, diplomacy, and commercial acumen.
Iyase Noenwe was blessed abundantly in all areas of life. His biological children and grandchildren were numerous.
The direct families and several extended families, who include the Izeyamus, Gobadias, Imasogies, Elios, Otokitis, Akenisis, Ekpoge Edobas, and others too numerous to list, converged at the historic first-story building in Benin City for the ceremony. The Esama of Benin, along with other elders, unveiled the family tree.
Can we put our hands together for the Esama of Benin?
It was a carnival of some sort, with a rare display of candor, unity, and respect for their origin. Some members of the family and guests, who include the Esama of Benin, Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawo Igbenedion, Uwe Dixon Imasoge, Pastor Osage Izeyamu, and others, expressed delight at the success of the event.
Unbelievable, wonderful attendance, well behaved. It is the beginning. I wish them more among unity.
I handed over this occasion to the Lord God, and things were falling to pleasant places.
We came together and we are celebrating his death.
This was a man that lived over a century ago. He came from Igbododo, very hardworking, very enterprising, and he found favor with the Oba of Benin.
Gathered from all over the world to celebrate and to talk about the history of the family.
Great-great-granddaughter of this year's Nonyeme. I'm very happy to be in this place.
We believe that this is the beginning of homecoming for our families in diaspora.
The achievements recorded by Iyase Noeme, Chief Oeme, in the promotion of the Benin rich cultural heritage till today stand very tall. From Benin, Pius Nsogo, ITV News.
Now, the parish priest of St. Gabriel the Archangel Catholic Church, Reverend Father Jerome Idebe, has admonished parents to give their children proper home training to make them better adults in life. The parish priest gave the admonition during Sunday's Mass. Efosa Wangwe reports.
The parish priest of St. Gabriel the Archangel Catholic Church, Reverend Father Jeremy Idebe, who spoke on the topic, the Feast of Holy Family of Jesus, Mary and Joseph, said Christians should emulate the conduct of such family. Reverend Father Jeremy Idebe urged parents to ensure their children adopt the exemplary paths of Jesus Christ to be so blessed and achieve goodness.
In one family, we have a wonderful set of men, or a wonderful set of members. Holiness for father, holiness for mother, and holiness for children. And the family continue serving God's purpose. May our families serve the purpose of God in our lives in Jesus' name.
Reverend Father Jeremy Idebe also, during the Mass, used the opportunity to thank the principal donor of St. Gabriel, the Archangel Catholic Church, the Esama of Benin and Honorary Romania Consul to Edo and Delta States of Nigeria, His Excellencies Chief Sir Gabriel Osawo Igbenedion, for his uncommon financing of evangelism and general development of the church, as well as outstanding welfare for members. The choir rendered soft lifting songs to the glory of God. From Benin, Efosa Wangwe, ITV News.
The attack and public humiliation of Dr. Don Pedro Obaseki by a mob in Benin City on Sunday has continued to generate reactions and condemnation in Benin City. Dr. Don Pedro was reportedly at his regular football spot at Uwa Primary School when he was assaulted, harassed and abducted. Dr. Don Pedro is an illustrious son of Benin whose intellectual and media contributions have positively impacted on the society. Moving on, the Raphael Akowe Foundation has successfully organized the 7th edition of its annual marathon race, attracting athletes and spectators to the Ekpon and Ewosa communities in Edo State. The sporting event, which has continued to gain popularity over the years, featured a 5-kilometer race for men and a 3-kilometer race for women, Osemujame Osaige reports.
Participants at the 7th edition of the Raphael Akọ̀wé Foundation Marathon Race came not only from the host communities but also from outside Edo State, highlighting the growing reach and reputation of the event. The men's 5-kilometer race kicked off at the Palace of the Onoje of Ewosa and terminated at Central Primary School, Ekpon, where an enthusiastic crowd welcomed the runners at the finish line. The women's 3-kilometer race began at Central Primary School, passing through Ogbe Street, Ekpon Market, Zion Secondary School and Ijeduma Road, before climaxing at Central Primary School, Ekpon. At the end of the competition, prizes were presented to outstanding performance. The winner of the men's category received 100,000 naira, while the first and second runners-up went home with 70,000 naira and 50,000 naira respectively. In the women's category, the winner carted away 110,000 naira. The second place finisher received 80,000 naira, while the third place runner earned 60,000 naira. Consolation prizes were also given to all participants. Speaking on the success of the event, the administrator, Raphael Akọ̀wé Foundation, Sonny Enaifoge, expressed satisfaction with the turnout and organization of the marathon, noting that the foundation remains committed to promoting unity and healthy living among youths and communities.
Well, the marathon was a huge success and we thank God for that. The next edition will be much better than this, and we are extending it far away.
One of the winners also expressed appreciation to Raphael Akọ̀wé Foundation for organizing the race and supporting young athletes.
The route drafting was actually nice and there was water station for everything. So I want to appreciate the organizers for giving us the platform to showcase what we can do.
Raphael Akọ̀wé Foundation is a purpose-driven non-profit organization dedicated to nurturing the growth and development of children, empowering women and youth through education-focused initiatives, skills development, and social support programs. Osemujame Osaige, ITV News.
And with that, we've come to the end of ITV News Updates. I am Chukufum Nanya Digwe. Thank you for watching. Good morning.
ITV, certainly the best.
Good morning and welcome. This is TMI Socials. I am Chukufum Nanya Digwe, and here's what's making waves across the social media space. Now, we begin with the U.S. drone strike that has hit ISIS camps near Nigerian village on Christmas Day. Now, a U.S. airstrike on Christmas Day targeted 2 Islamic State-linked camps in Sokoto State's Bawoni Forest, linking and killing multiple foreign ISIS fighters with 16 precision-guided munitions from MQ-9 Reaper drones. President Trump announced the operation as vengeance against ISIS for killing innocent people, mainly Christians, while Nigeria's government called it a successful strike with no civilian deaths. Debris scattered into peaceful Jabo village, where locals like Suleiman Kagara insisted the area has no militant history, sparking online skepticism about the strike's accuracy. Now, let's get to see this video comment on the U.S. airstrike in Nigeria, and then we'll take other reactions. Our apologies for not bringing you that video comment. Now let's take other reactions from the social media space as regards this. Well, for the first comment, it goes along to say, Trump bombed Nigeria without consulting Congress and without explaining how this benefits our national security. He promised no foreign wars, and he keeps breaking that promise. That one is from U.S. Representative Frank Pallone. Let's see another comment. This next commenter says, they told you that the U.S. performed an airstrike in Sokoto, Nigeria, yet I am still looking for any evidence of a dead body of an ISIS member. If you have one, let's see it. That is one audacious question. Let's see the final comment as regards this particular one before we move forward. This commenter says, before the usual gaslighters and dirty liars start spinning false claims and conspiracy stories, the action of the American government in dropping multiple airstrikes on terrorists in northwest Nigeria tonight was with the permission and at the invitation of the Nigerian government. This is just to make it clear. I know many of you barbaric lunatics on this app are undercover terror agents who will be saddened that your brother terrorists have been killed by a superior power tonight. That is Christmas Day, of course. There are no apologies. It goes on to say, this is an amazing, exceptional Christmas gift. Well, those are the comments as regards the U.S. precision airstrikes in Nigeria targeted as ISWAP and ISIS terrorists. Now let's get to see the next story that is trending on the social media space. This one is something that actually did form the crux of our conversation right here in the Benin Network Center, as a veteran broadcaster and Nollywood filmmaker was dragged naked through Benin streets over speech phrase. Now, the ordeal on December 28th stemmed from Obasaki's speech in London. Now, many view this assault as something that is not very good to see. Let's get to see the video and then we'll take some more reactions as regards it. Yes, so many view this act as barbaric, and you know, there's a lot of social media reactions as regards this one. Let's get to take some of these comments. The first commenter goes along to say, they do this to a man who stole nothing, yet watch politicians lose the present and future of their children without consequence. Absolute cowardice, and Monday Okpebulu is their governor. Let's see another comment. This commenter says, Nigerians' penchant for using violence to settle disputes remains deeply troubling. It's 2025, yet mob justice persists. In southern states like Edo, cases are rampant. This year, 16 Hausa hunters were lynched in Uromi over mere suspicion of criminal activity. That's that comment. Let's take the final comment as regards this one before we move on to our final story. This commenter says, this country cannot be saved. Everybody is defending dehumanization, even the educated. Well, those are the reactions that has been elicited by the social media space as regards that particular story. Now, for our final story, coming from the entertainment scene, we got to see Tiwa Savage cry over the weekend while performing her hit song, Somebody's Son. Yes, as you know, the social media space is talking about it. Let's first get to see this video, and then we'll take the reactions as regards it. Well, there you have it, a video of who I call the queen of Afrobeat performing her hit song, Somebody's Son, and then breaking into tears. A very vulnerable moment, if you ask me. While the social media space is reacting, let's get to see and hear what they're saying. This commenter says, I hope some young girls watching this can learn a lesson from Tiwa. What you're seeing in real time is a woman crying from the depth of her earth due to not having a man she so desires. Social media likes cannot replace reality. Let's see another comment now. This other reaction says, there are a lot of words behind this emotion. The struggle to find love is real. May we find the partner we deserve. Now, the final comment as regards this story from the social media space, this reaction says, this is not actually funny. Tiwa must be going through a lot emotionally. At times, expectations don't come as anticipated. Those are the comments as regards Tiwa Savage breaking into tears while performing her hit song, Somebody's Son. And here's where we draw the curtain on TMI socials today. Many thanks for staying tuned in. I am Chukufum Nanya Digo. We'll now take a short break before we finalize the program TMI on the ITV network. Stay tuned.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking about. That's what I said. So when they bullied her,
Yeah.
if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They
smart.
can't sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them or are dragging on both sides, you cannot you cannot breathe. And these women will stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels, and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
Just on the verge of wrapping up the program today, TMI on the ITV network. Of course, we've got a reaction from Dr. Pedro Obaseki, who was harassed, molested, and of course assaulted yesterday by a mob. And of course, he gave an account of what transpired while he was playing football at Uwa Primary School. We'll take a listen on the video, and then we'll be back in just a moment to call it a wrap on the show. It's better you hear it from the horse's mouth. We actually expected him here today, but I'm sure he's yet to recover from all the beatings, the bashing, and all the draggings, and the long walk, over 5 kilometers from Uwa to the King Square area where he was taken to yesterday. Let's take a listen.
I'm a little, I don't want to say very traumatized. At about 11:30, 28th of December, at our primary school, and we were playing football. Immediately we finished the first half. The hoodlums, thugs, or I think, I don't know, claiming or alleging that they were sent to come and take me to the palace. They invaded the place, some brandishing weapons, and dragged me for about almost 5 kilometers from St. Joseph Catholic Church, where we have our primary school. Beat me, stripped me naked, and paraded me on the streets of Benin, along Akbava, took me first to the Holy Arosa Church, and then dragged me through Ring Road to the palace, beating me, stripped me naked, and I say naked, like naked, to the extent they tore my underpants. So I got there, and the allegation was that I was in an event in London where I spoke to Edo people, and that at the end of my speaking, I said Edo Ratokbe, meaning may Edo people live long, instead of me saying Oba Ratokbe, may Oba live long. I have absolutely no altercation with the palace. I've been a purveyor of the culture of my people ever since 1989, when I first wrote some of my stuff on Benin, and I've never had this kind of. I was basically abducted by hoodlums. From there, some of the security operatives in the palace put me in a palace hillock truck and took me to the Oba Market police station. And then the commissioner of police came about thrice, and around 5 o'clock or 5:30, he asked that I be released and somebody should sign a bill that the exact word he used was the Oba was not pressing charges. And I was wondering what charges. For me to be stripped, bare-bodied, beaten, slapped. I don't understand. But I want to thank everybody who has shown solidarity. I want to put this on record. I'm an Obaseki, and this is not a beating of Pedro. It's as if there is a deliberate war against anybody who bears the name of Obaseki, and maybe I was the first victim in the line. But this must stop. So I'm going to press charges. I'm going to seek legal recompense. I don't understand this. My children are traumatized, my family, my siblings.
Well, Dr. Pedro Obaseki reacting to, I won't call it reaction, actually, is actually explaining what transpired yesterday that led to that unfortunate incident that has taken the internet by storm, attracting reactions from across the world. The onus is on the authorities in charge to bring the perpetrators to book. That's what will bring it to a close today on the show, TMI. We'll have our program Business Rendezvous coming up in a moment. Have a lovely day ahead. Bye for now.
From independent television and